Okay, my name is Carolyn Turner, and I am on the board of the Coweta County History Center, and I happen to be the president of the board of the History Center. And today we're going to talk about my uncle, who was my mother's older brother, who was a World War II torpedo man on a submarine. This is a picture of him. His name was Harry Randolph Lowery, and the family was from Moreland, Georgia, and he was born in September of 1924. This is his baby book, which we think is so very, very precious. And families back then, my family especially, never threw away a thing, nothing at all. So it tells all of his little information, when he was born, how long he was, how much he weighed, all that sort of thing. But this is a real treasure because he did not make it through World War II. And so every piece of paper that my family had of him, anything about him, is saved. Everything. So this is his little baby book. Okay, he went to school. Of course, they were from Moreland, I told you. He went to school, all the children in the family went to school at the Moreland school system. And if you'll come over here, Pat, there is the diploma, his diploma from Moreland High School, which is a very unusual thing to have anyway, because not very many of those are left. He graduated from Moreland High School, and this is a commencement program from that graduation weekend, I think it was. They had a lot of different things, a play and all kinds of things. And one of the things that I liked the best is because that was during the war years. His class was 1942, and this was during the war years, and part of the program was the presentation of parachutes. What did they think of to present parachutes? We don't know. But his job was the dispatch of solo flights. We don't know what that was either, but it had something to do with the military. So this is the commencement program for his graduation from Moreland High School. And as soon as we get finished with this filming of this, I'm going to take this program and I'm going to copy it on the computer, and I'm going to display it in our case as a part of the display on Moreland. So this will be available for people to see. Now, as soon as he graduated, he knew that he was going to go in the military. My aunt had convinced him that he should not volunteer. She wanted him to wait until he got his papers, and so he did that. And then it turned out that they thought he was not going to be able to join the Navy, which is what he really wanted to do. So she went with him when he had to report, and she convinced the people that were there, the men that were there, to let him go in the Navy anyway. So he got his favorite thing. That's what he wanted to do. He signed up to be on a submarine, and he was actually on the Sawfish. Now, this is his book that records his service record, and in it tells that he went to where he went to torpedo school, how many times he took classes, all of that sort of thing, and he was really, really happy. But he was a small man, so that might have been one of the things that sort of made them lean to letting him be in the submarine, but that's what he wanted to do anyway. This is a photograph that we have, and he sent home lots and lots and lots of photographs, but this is a photograph of the Sawfish, which I think is really unusual to have that. And this, everybody that has studied anything about World War II knows about the V letters.
V-mail.
V-mail. And this is a Christmas card that he sent home to his mother. And it's so tiny. If you have to really, actually I got out a magnifying glass to be able to read all of the words on the V-mail. And this is actually down here, a picture of the submarine. It's an outline drawing with a sailor standing on the top of the submarine, and this is his Merry Christmas wish to his mama, which I think is very sweet, but it doesn't have a date on it. So, and there are several other of these, more of these in the box of stuff that we have from him. So I'm not sure which year this came from, but you know, at least we have one. Okay, now I'm going to walk right over here. He was in the Pacific. The submarine, of course, was in the Pacific, so that meant that he dealt back and forth with Japan. Well, we know that the atomic bomb was dropped on Japan early on in August of 1945, and so that started the ball rolling for the end of the war. By September, the war had been, that it had officially been declared that Japan had given up, and so all of the Navy started to call in all of the ships from the Pacific into California. Well, late November or early December, the submarine Sawfish docked in California, and all of the men came off the submarine and they were partying. Everybody was happy, the end of the war, everybody was celebrating, and there were 3 men from the Sawfish and a woman who were partying together, and they went to a hotel, and we all think that they were so drunk that they went to sleep. They didn't pay attention, they didn't stay awake, and there was a gas stove in the room, and it burned up all the oxygen, and they were all 4 asphyxiated, which was such a tragedy to the family, because especially he had made it through the whole war, and they were expecting him to come home, not to come home to be buried, which was really, really sad to my grandparents. This is one of the letters that they got. This is a Western Union, and it says to them, you're going to come up close to it. It says to them, this is from the hospital, it says, "I deeply regret to inform you that your son, Harry Randolph Lowery, died accidentally Sunday morning, December 9th, 1945, believed to be from asphyxiation from carbon monoxide gas." This came from the hospital. So immediately the hospital says, "What do you want us to do?" They had to then make some decisions. Do you want the hospital to send his body home to be buried here? Or did they want his body to be buried in California? And who is the funeral home going to be? And all of those kinds of details. And they were so shocked they weren't even able to think of the answers to those. So their oldest daughter, my Aunt Sister Caroline Muntz, has said that she's the one who had to make all the decisions, because her parents were just not able to even think. They were so hurt. My grandmother said time stopped. That's how they felt. And so all the decisions had to go to the oldest daughter. But this is the telegram that came from the hospital. And these are 2 examples of letters that came from other sailors, different people who were on the sub with him, who were talking to her, my grandmother, saying what a nice man he was, what a great sailor he was, how they appreciated what he did on the sub, whatever, and comforting her. And so to the rest of the family now, these are great treasures, because we feel like he was well thought of. So there's that one, and then of course it all has the Sawfish name, emblem, whatever on there. And my brother, who is my uncle's namesake, Harry, has all of this stuff. Obviously belongs to him. He's the one who, it means so much to him, because he has the same name. So okay.